Hello, I'm Omar Amin Mohammed from Department of Biological Sciences, Bauchi State University, Gado. Welcome to my third video on ecotourism. Last video, we talked about Africa's climate, which is basically located in the tropics. If you can see, basically, this image is showing the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. And you can see virtually almost all part of Africa is located in the tropics, which means more sunlight. And this leads to development of the kind of biodiversity we have. And of course, this image, which is a clearer one, shows a dedication of Africa. As you can see, 23 degrees north, Tropic of Cancer, 23-degree south, Tropic of Capricorn. And we also talked about the Africa's major countries that have this ecotourism, which contribute a lot to the economy. These countries include the Botswana, the Kenya, and the Malawi, and the Rwanda, Uganda, Zambia, and of course Zimbabwe and South Africa. Um, those maps you see here with stars, these are the countries that have this ecotourism value or ecotourism destination. We also talk about Big Five, which are animals that usually attract a lot of attention. This includes the African elephant, which is Loxodonta africana, the Panchera leo, African lion, the African buffalo, Censurus caffa, the African rhinoceros, Dicerus bicornis, and of course the African leopard, which is the Panthera pardus, also known as Panthera pardus leopardus or Panthera pardus pardus. Why is Nigeria lagging behind? Because obviously you didn't see the map of Nigeria in the tourism destination in Africa, because it contributes a very negligible amount to the economy. One of the main reasons is that during the colonial period, when other countries like the Eastern Africa were creating African Travel and Tourism Association, um, Nigerians were busy with the Civil War, which occurred in between 1967 to 1970, and of course the favorable oil prices after the 1973, which leads to the oil boom. It basically changed the Nigerian economy, which leads to rapid urbanization, industrialization, and rural disinvestment. It leads to concentration of more urbanization and industrialization in the cities, which basically provides more concentration of the resources, where the government spend more resources in the cities, thereby neglecting the rural area, which leads to people in the rural area to be more poor. And of course, they engage in a lot of activities that damage the environment, which include logging of woods for fuel and other hunting, poaching activities for their own personal gain. And of course, it also encourage corruption, and the oil also encourage corruption on unprecedented scale. Another issue is that was that the naira was highly valued as at then, because as a currency then, which did not favor tourism, because tourists pay more money to visit Nigeria compared to other African destinations. It is basically a no-brainer, because uh, if you are to travel to various destinations and you look at what you spend less here, and of course you see what you want to see, and you come to Nigeria and you basically see animals, but you spend more. The tourists usually decide to go to where the countries that have currencies that are of lower value compared to the naira. Also, the constant takeover of government by the military discouraged tourists because of the poor image from abroad. This occurred from 1970s to the 1990s. Do we have prospects in ecotourism in Nigeria? This is a good question. We can answer it in various ways. We can say yes, we can say no. If we look at the activities going on in the natural environment, the disruption and the lack of coordination in some aspects. We'll see, but if you look at what the establishment of a lot of government agencies, we might say yes, like the present and the future government needs to do more to show commitment to environmental conservation in general and protected area management in particular. Now, for example, in the 1980s, the federal government formulated the National Conservation Strategy, establishing the Natural Resource Conservation Council, NARESCON, which played an important role, but it was later disbanded and joined with the Federal Protection Agency. And of course, we also had the national park systems. Of course, Nigeria must also show more seriousness in the pursuit of the goals of sustainable development. If you look at ecotourism, it is basically a non-consumptive sustainable resource. So it is a little bit easier to conserve it if the accurate or the right steps are taken. And then the Federal Environmental Protection Agency needs to do more to basically encourage uh, this sustainable development. Cheers. See you soon.